Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. I'm Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is a 7 by 14 inch painting called Sunset After a Storm. Nice title, yeah. Um, by the way, if you like my channel, I see all the other YouTube people do this. Click the like button, subscribe, click the bell by the subscribe button, pardon me, and you'll get notifications when I put one of these bad boys up. However, if you are following the channel with any sort of regularity, you know I'm pretty regular, so it's Wednesday or Thursday, you know, for the midweek video, and then something around the weekend as well. So I'm pretty consistent in that regard. And we put up a few days ago, we put up a study that was an old study I'd done after Georgia Ness, but I have the box full of paintings here. I will be doing some photography in earnest before the weekend, so don't you fret if you're a big fan of the past master studies. I'm a big fan of doing them. I like to do them, and that's what I was doing this morning, actually. Oh, what was the name of this artist? Something Waite with his name. Really, really nice painting that was sort of... it was pivoting off of these... I was just using a segment of the color wheel. And maybe a sort of a brownish, blackish base. But also that black often would move into violet. And then in the sky, you know, a bunch of mauves and purple mauves and reddish mauves, with the clouds themselves being like kind of a coralish orange. A really brilliant colors in that painting, and a great composition. So I really enjoyed laying in the first color pass, and I'll be really happy to share that with you when, you know, I get the painting done and I get the photography done. Should be sometime sometime next year. No, it'll be quicker than that. Don't worry. Don't fret. Don't fret. What do I was thinking about color. I was thinking it would be good to talk about color. I get a lot of questions about color on the channel, and people that email me. One person commented, and before I even get into this, I want to say you can ask for anything you want on my comments. I am perfectly happy with that. However, there's some things I can do and some things I cannot do. And if I can do it, and it works within the framework of, you know, what I'm able to present in the time frame I have to present material, I will accommodate requests. However, this person was asking for information about what colors I'm laying down as I'm laying them down. And that, at first, to somebody who's kind of an amateur painter, maybe seems like a legitimate question, but there's no color in a painting. It exists in isolation. It's not like you crack open a tube of paint, just grab some of that paint and start plopping it on the canvas. You've got to mix things together. And the mixtures can be somewhat simple or somewhat complex. One of the rules of thumb that I remember hearing back when I was first starting to learn painting was that you want to keep your mixtures as simple as possible. I don't subscribe to that. I'll throw as many colors into the mix as I need to, and a lot of times I will keep, while I'm painting, I keep a little pile of unused colors that are, you know, let's face it, it gets muddier and muddier as it goes, these unused colors. But you can take a little pile of chromatic mud and introduce another color, strong color to it, and just start painting with that. So very, very difficult to actually accommodate a request like that. So I just wanted to cover that. But I do understand where it's coming from, and I was a painter starting out, and I totally empathize with wanting to get answers and get some insight into the uh, well, seemingly magical process. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are more than a few painters that might show you their palette as they're painting, and you would think, oh, well, that's going to really help, but it won't. It won't help. I've said this before, and I will probably continue to say it for as long as I have a channel and I'm putting videos up, and that is the best way to learn how to mix colors and learn how to apply colors and to learn how to paint is by making paintings. There are no shortcuts. You might think there are shortcuts. There are plenty of things in this world these days, especially the modern world, with oh, I don't know, programs like Photoshop or processing photos or any of that, where you might get a sort of cheat sheet, and you can use that to accomplish your ends. With painting, you can watch every video on my channel, which I think is over 480 videos now. And if you were to watch all 480 videos, trust me, you'd know a lot about painting. I impart a heck of a lot of knowledge about painting. But it's not really remedial knowledge. Remedial knowledge, you got channels that cover that stuff. And actually, what site was that? It'll come to me. But there's a site, Udemy, that's the site. You can go to Udemy and, well, don't pay full price for any of those courses, so make sure you get them on sale, because the full price is like 150 bucks, but the sale price can be, I don't know, 20 bucks, 40 bucks. It all depends, but look around there. You can get courses in basic remedial information. I just recently bought a course for my nephew on basic drawing. Don't know whether he'll study it or not. That's the other thing. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And you can introduce people to information, but you can't make them absorb it. And the only way really to absorb it is by putting it into practice. Otherwise, it's abstract. I mean, think about all the things you were taught when you were in school that you don't remember or recall. And I'm like speaking for myself, that's the overwhelming majority of the things that they taught me in school. A little nugget will bubble up here and there, but you know, for the most part, for example, had 3 years of German. I don't remember any German. You know, I know the German word for you is du, and a few other little nuggets. But you know, no, I passed that class 3 years running, so. That's just a pretty good example. I didn't care, and I didn't have to put the language that I learned into practice. So if you want to learn how to paint, start with a fairly basic limited palette. There's a video on my palette on my channel that lists whereby I go through every color I have on my palette, and which ones are super critical, which ones are less than critical, and the various uses that each color might have in my arsenal. You know, that information's there. You could use my basic palette as a starting point, or Kevin McPherson's another good one, because he's got a book called Fill Your Paintings with Light and Color. He's not a bad painter. I like his work, but he's a really good teacher. I think his books are excellent because he puts the emphasis on, one of the reasons they're excellent is that he puts the emphasis on using a very limited palette, which is going to give you a harmonious result in your paintings. If you have, you know, if you're using 20, 30 different tube colors on your palette and you're wondering why your paintings don't seem to harmonize, you're going to have a pretty good answer right there. But anyway, the practice of painting is the thing. The practice of mixing colors is the thing. In fact, You don't need to wait around for inspiration. You could just do little swatches of color. You know what I'm saying? Just have fun mixing colors, making colors, trying to match colors from photos, or match colors from paintings, or match colors from real life. I think you would find that if you were to apply yourself even a little bit to a practice like that, that you'd start getting the hang of it pretty rapidly. I have to say it's non-issue for me if I want to go after a color. The only limitation is the limitations that would be inherent in the colors that are on my palette. But I've been doing this for a while, and so my palette will cover most of the bases for most of the types of scenes that I'm interested in doing. If I was a different type of painter, I would need a different type of palette, and that's always going to be the case. So there are no magic answers, no magic solutions. You're more than welcome to ask, though. I can understand that, because how do you know what you don't know unless you ask? And this is, I've been talking about this for about 4 or 5 minutes now, maybe longer. How much typing would that be in a comment section as well? So I'm putting the information here, and hopefully it's helpful to those of you that are, and I have to say, if you are a person that wants to make art and wants to make paintings, you are an excellent person, and that is an excellent thing to want to do. So many people just want to do next to nothing. They just sit around and watch Netflix, or look at their phones, or spend a lot of time gossiping or doing whatever. I mean, it seems that most people are very, very interested in wasting time, which is really the most precious resource that we have, because it's a limited resource. You don't have infinite time here on the planet. So I think it behooves all of us to really think about what we want to do with that time, what we want to accomplish while we're here. Whether it has intrinsic meaning or not would be maybe I'll start a philosophy channel at some point. We can talk about that, but the short answer is no. There's no intrinsic meaning to paintings. The only meaning paintings have is the meaning that they had for the artists who created them, and the meaning that the paintings have for the people that are perceiving them, that appreciate them. And that won't be everybody. I can tell you that firsthand. I've got a studio in a publicly accessible spot, and I see people go walking by all the time, and they don't want to know. And I'm not bothered by that. They're interested in, who knows what they're in. Maybe they're interested in a three-wheel sports utility. What you call those motorcycles with 3 wheels that you ride around in the hills. That might be their thing. It would never be my thing. Doesn't make them good or bad people. It just means that they don't really care about what I'm doing. But I do think it's important and valuable to create something that is going to be around, that has the capacity to move others. That's my motivation, and that has meaning to me. Does it have intrinsic meaning? Not really. I can defend the idea philosophically, though, and I think that's the important precept that I'm trying to communicate here. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Watch another video. It's all good. I'll be back over the weekend with a past master. I guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee that you're going to see a new past master. So come back for that, and we'll see you then. Meanwhile, please take good care and stay out of trouble.